Mhm.
Yes, Elmore, he's allied with the Syrian. My father was allied with the Syrian, but he wanted to achieve something for his country.
Mhm.
So he would see the positiveness in achieving things.
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you. What was the nature of the relationship between your late father and Mr. Talal Salman?
Blackmail. Pure. If you don't give me money, I will blow you out of the space. Write everything negative on you.
Tried everything too?
Negative on you.
Mm-hmm.
Allah, in the end, Talal was Jamil Sayyid, very close to Jamil Sayyid,
Mm-hmm.
as a friend. And at the same time, Talal, and the way things worked, and I'll tell you exactly how it worked. The Syrians would want my father to help somebody. So they would say to Rustum would say, Rafiq, Talal needs your help. So you need to pay him some money because his newspaper is getting bankrupt. And unfortunately my father fell, in the beginning he didn't want to do it. And Safir newspaper was one of the hardest newspaper on my father in 1992. For the sake of, he never had any problems with Talal. But, so Talal, if you paid him money, he would write nicely about you. Like Shal Ayub. Shal Ayub was worse. Shal Ayub is like a whore. Talal, is more, he has a newspaper, is more, and he will write something bad, but also he has other writers who have different point of views of Talal. So he's not, he's not a, let's say, like, what's his name? Shal Ayub. Shal Ayub is a gambler. In my eyes, he sold his soul completely. Talal Salman is different. He blackmailed. He didn't blackmail. He used his paper to get money. But at the same time, he had a couple of people working for him, like Brahim Al-Amin. Oh yeah, Brahim Al-Amin, one of the people of Jamil Sayyid. I forgot. Brahim Al-Amin now, who leads the newspaper Al-Akhbar, was one of the people who used to work with Talal. See, he had Jamil Sayyid had Brahim Al-Amin in Safir, Ula Nasif in Al-Nahar, and Tariq Tarshishi in Sharq Al-Awsat, and what? And Shal Ayub, Shal Ayub, and what's DR.
Since we are talking about journalists, what was the nature of the relationship between your father and Samir Qasir?
Samir Qasir, I don't think they had a very outstanding relationship. He was a journalist like any other journalist, but Samir Qasir at one point called my father, or what's her name, Giselle called my father, and Jamil Said was harassing Samir Qasir. And there was this incident where they were in a restaurant called, I think, Baltus maybe, or
Mm-hmm.
and and actually I don't think my father knew them. And they told him this is Samir Qasir, and they made this trap to see if there were really people following Samir Qasir. So they took, my father put them in his car and took off. And he was Prime Minister, and he had security with him. And they stopped the people who were following Samir Qasir, and there was a big story the next day in the newspapers.
Okay.
And I think since then maybe they developed a relationship, but I don't know the details.
Okay. We don't know the details.
No.
No. Okay. In your interview with UNIIC dated on the 9th of July 2005, you stated that the Syrians orchestrated an anti-Hariri campaign in the period preceding the 14th of February 2005.
Yes.
By saying the Syrians, you were referring to whom?
To Rustam Ghazali,
Mm-hmm.
to Asif Shawkat,
Mm-hmm.
to Asif Shawkat, and their tools, their stooges, which is Jamil Sayed,
Mm-hmm.
and Emil Lahoud. They had orchestrated a media campaign saying that my father was a traitor, my father was for 1559, he orchestrated 1559, that he's an enemy of Syria. Sulaiman Franji came out and said that Rafiq Hariri was who is very close to the Syrian regime. He said that Rafiq Hariri is a project, is a مشروع مشبوه, something like that.
Suspicious project.
Talal Arslan came out and said Bargil right him. And they were very harsh. And if you look at the campaign that's against me today, you will see it's the same thing.
It took place only in Lebanon, or also in other countries.
Only in Lebanon.
Do you have?
And no, actually, and in the Syrian newspapers, in the Ba'ath, I think in the Ba'ath and Tishrin newspapers, they came out few articles, and I remember it was very alarming because that was, usually they don't write threat. When the Ba'ath newspaper writes about you like this, that means your hours are counting down.
Yeah. So it's mainly.
And I remember calling my father and telling him that, did you see what they wrote to you about in Ba'ath? Because I was of the view, when I sat with him and I told him, why you're not compromise?
About what?
About, you remember the meeting we were talking about with Rustam Ghazali and Charles Ayoub. They were negotiating on the elections in Beirut, and the people, or letting people in the list of my father. I said to him, compromise. You always compromise. Why don't you compromise now? And he said, I will not compromise. I'm 60 years old. I said, they will do something to you. I will let them do, and if they do, they are digging their own grave.
And that was your position for the extension of Lahoud, or what?
No, the extension of the hood was different.